Hello, hello, and welcome. It's me, and this is the Paisley Penny Arcade. Renee, welcome to the chat room. It's good to see you. Come on in. Come on in. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can join the chat room. All you have to do is go to YouTube at Mo Abdel Baki, Abdelbaki, with an MO in front of it. And you can say hi, and you can talk to me, and you can kibitz. I don't mind kibitzing. And be happy to have you. So welcome. Today is Wednesday. I believe there's a lunar eclipse today with 44% of the world's population able to see it. That's pretty impressive if you ask me, and you didn't. But I'm telling you anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. I think we're going to have some fun today. Those of you who are fans of the I Ching and those of you who are not, you might become fans after today. We're going to do the Yarrow Stalk Oracle. The I Ching, of course, has many different forms, many different ways to look at it. You can do the coins, the Chinese coins, and there are several different ways to do that. You can use 3 coins. You can use 2 coins. That would be 4, but 2. You can use 6 coins. I've done all of those. You can use marbles. You can use 16 marbles. You can use 8 marbles. You can use beads. I use the dragon beads. You can use just some beads. You can use 8 beads. But today we're going to use the Yarrow Stalks, and there are many different ways of using them. Oh, tomorrow is the full moon eclipse for me. Well, it may be for all of us, Renee. It may be for all of us. I sometimes just kind of, but I kind of had the idea it was today, but I didn't look at an ephemeris or anything for that matter. So I just read about it, and I didn't follow it too closely. But thank you for that. It may actually be tomorrow, and you probably know much better than I do. I've been busy doing some other stuff lately, so Actually, just a bit ago, I was listening to the Jefferson Airplane, Somebody to Love. Oh, what a song. It's actually one of my favorite songs of all time. All time. I'll never forget the first time I heard it. It was on the AM radio, because that's all I had access to was AM radio. And I just was blasted away. I was a kid. I mean, not a little kid. I was in my teen years. And here came Somebody to Love by the Jefferson Airplane. Blew me away. I mean, Grace Slick, her voice was unbelievably powerful. And here is this song, which was unlike anything I'd ever heard before. And pow. And it was about the way I felt. Don't you want somebody to love? Sure. That's, kind of been a full life goal all the time, looking for somebody to love. And we find people to love, don't we? And we think we found that person, and you know what? And not that we haven't, but then there are times when you say, "Oh, this is the one," and it turns out maybe that person wasn't the one. Divorce, and that sort of thing. But to everything, turn. There is a season. So, and that's where things like Tarot and the I Ching and astrology come in. So it's always kind of a fun thing to be into what we're into. And that whole generation, I think my whole generation may have felt unloved. And that's what, anyway, blah, blah, blah. But I love that song. When the truth is found to be lies, and all the joy within you dies. Anyway, so yeah, I listen to music before I come on. Kind of helps me to listen to music, you know. I listen to it while I can. I may be losing more hearing. I don't know yet. I'm going to go see a hearing guy. I see them about once a year, and they always, oh, we have to turn things up a little bit here, Mo. Just crank this up a little bit. That's all right. So while I can, I do. And while I do, I can. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I like doing this. It's a lot of fun. So let's talk about the Yarrow Stalk I Ching. People think it's awfully complicated. It looks complicated. And when you open up a book and you read these things and all these numbers, it's like, holy mackerel. We start off with 50 Yarrow Stalks. First of all, you can use any kind of sticks. Doesn't have to be Yarrow Stalks. I use Yarrow Stalks since I've got them. And I'll show you some stalks. I'll show you some sticks. But I'm going to give you a way to do it where you just don't even have to do any counting of numbers. You have to count sticks, but I'll show you how to do that. And you don't worry about any numbers. You forget about the numbers, all right? There's a process. I'm going to teach you the process. And this is going to be, like I said, there are many different versions of doing the Yarrow Stalks. You can get on this here YouTube thing, and you can find maybe dozens of ways. I don't know. But I'm just going to teach you the way that I first learned back when I was about 14 years old. I'm not sure why there was a copy of the I Ching in the library at my junior high school. I don't think there was supposed to be a copy of the I Ching. I have an idea it may have been because of the particular principal we had. He was an intellectual fellow, and I liked him, and he liked me. But the reason I was in the library that day was because of detention. And I did a fair amount of detention in junior high school. And but it's a long story. I'm not going to get into it now. I've told the story before, and I'll tell it again, I'm sure, because that's what people my age do. We tell the same stories over and over again. But not today. But I ended up right in front of this, not this exact book, but this here book. The Book of Changes by Richard Wilhelm, translated by Carrie F. Baines, by the Soul Engine Press. Yes, or Bull Engine. I don't know. I have to look into it here. Here it is right here. The Bull Engine, Series 19. And I've had this book since I was 33. I bought this on my 33rd birthday. Until that day, I did not own my own copy of this book. I borrowed, and libraries, and a friend of mine who was kind enough to let me borrow his version over and over and over. I still talk to him by FaceTime. He lives in Baltimore. I live here, and we talk to each other about every other week. He sometimes goes out of town, and thank you, Greg. You are a wonderful friend. He watches sometimes. Oh, by the way, Christina, if you're watching today, thank you. It's very nice to be seen by you. Yes, it is. She's a dear friend. So anyway, so here we are. And this book, I have been 58 years. Is that possible? I guess it would be 58 years since I have been working with the I Ching. And in the beginning, I did the Yarrow Stalks. Now, I didn't have Yarrow Stalks. I didn't even know what Yarrow was. I was about 14. And the coin method I didn't try until later. But and I had Tinker toys, my old Tinker toys, and they were all different sizes, and they break over the years, and I'd had them since I was a kid, and they were all, so I didn't know what to do, so I used pickup sticks, and my kid brother's pickup sticks, and they were really, honestly, too young to have had pickup sticks because they're pointed on the end, but they that's what I used, and I began practicing with those. And I didn't know what this book was for a long time. And I couldn't check it out of the school thing. It was a reference book, right with the Bibles, actually. So I went to the public library after I got a kind of a feel for what this was. And I'm not going to get into the story there, but I did go to the public library, and the book hadn't been out very long, I don't think, at least in our area. I found it in the public library and checked it out and brought it home and tried it. And it took me a long time to figure out how to do it, and it took me a long time to figure out what I was doing and how to erect a hexagram. And when it tried it and did the hexagram and got a couple moving lines, and it was not easy for me in the beginning. But it worked. And it was stunning because it made sense. I had to really study it and think about it, but it made sense. And it was mind-blowing. And I was 14 or so. Hello, Pamela. Welcome to the room. And that started something in me. Now, I had been with Tarot for a while. I'd had a tarot deck, and I was working with tarot, and I had pretty good intuition. Not the best yet. It takes a while, and you're a kid, and you're going through the hormones and that, especially right around 13, 14, things are going, but the I Ching was, and I had to learn how to use the book. And in the middle of this Wilhelm Baines, you've got the Great Treatise. So, but the first thing I really worked with, and it took me years to really get to be comfortable with casting the coins. Now, casting the coins and the Yarrow Stalk method are actually very similar. People don't realize that. It's just that with the coins, you're cutting out a lot of time because you're doing essentially the same thing. I'll explain that as we go. So the whole point is not to be intimidated by the Yarrow Stalk method. It's more of a kind of a meditation, if you will. So what I think is that if you have the time and if you have the ability, if you have something that's very important in your life and you would like to really take some time to get into something deeply, then the Yarrow Stalk is worth it. It takes about 15, 20 minutes to do the whole thing. If you're going to really just sit down and, get into it. Because there is some, I guess you could say, labor intensive. It's not terrible. And I'm not going to be able to show you the table when I put the stalks down, because what I have here is a desk. And the computer here has my camera on it. So I can't turn around and show it, that sort of thing. But I'm going to hold them up as I do the counting. So you'll be able to get that, okay? But you'll get the gist. And I'm going to have some definitions for you, too. Now, if you read in the book, it says something like, and there's a counting sequence. And I'm going to really simplify this for you very, very much. I don't want you to be afraid of it. And I would like you to, if you're into the I Ching, try it. Try it. Okay. And you need 50 stalks or sticks of some sort. Before we get into all that stuff, let me show you, other than pickup sticks, which you can use. They're pointy on one end. There's nothing wrong with that. You can go to any toy store or get them through, whatever, or you can buy stalks. But here's what I made many years ago, many, oh, there goes the rubber band. Oh, it's right there. Dowels. I went to a store and bought these dowels, and they're very thin, and I just cut them, and that's that, and used them for a long, long time. And they were handy and everything. I actually turned this vase myself. I was working for a guy who had a company called How's Your Aspen? Very clever. This is an aspen vase. And I turned this one, and he said to me, I can't sell that. I said, why not? He said, it looks Egyptian. I said, well, he said, I don't like it. I said, what do you mean you don't like it? I like it. He said, it has this lip on it. We used to put they were liquid candles. You put the thing, it was a little, and and then you would light it. And he said, you're going to have to, it even says on the bottom here, how's your aspen? You can't see it here, but maybe you can. Yeah. Here. How's your aspen? So he made me buy it. But that's okay, because I love this. And I keep this little, so there. But I loved working with him. We were pretty good friends, and we laughed a lot. And we did laugh a lot. And we were the only two employees at the time. But he said this was too Egyptian, so I had to buy it from him. There's a little eye here. I remember that there. You see a little eye there staring at you. So you can use dowels. And I did for a long time. And then Yarrow. It's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. And the reason why it was so well liked is because it's pithy, so it's kind of hollow in the middle and it's hard on the outside. I found a source for some yarrow, and I asked if I could pick some yarrow, and the fellow said, take it all. It grows like a weed. And so I went ahead and I picked a bunch of yarrow, and here's this yarrow. And I was being so fancy, and I tied this Chinese knot. This is a Chinese kind of a forever knot, and I don't remember how I tied it in hand. I'll say that. And this is also a Chinese knot, and on this red satin cord, and I'd probably go blind trying to do it now. This was quite a while ago. And this is some pretty nice, sturdy yarrow. Now, the thing about yarrow is that it is fragile. I don't use this because it's big, but it sheds. It sheds. This is pretty nice. I haven't used this in a long time. And it's supposed to be, the size you use is supposed to be 3 hands. 1, 2, 3. So I made it right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. But I don't use this that much. But that's actually yarrow. And then what I tend to use more when I do the Yarrow Stalk is this Yarrow Stalk bunch here. These are all 50 stalks, and I'll explain all that. This came right out of a book that I bought that included Yarrow Stalks. And the thing about it is that it gets beat up after a while. And I'm convinced you don't have to use Yarrow Stalks. You can see it kind of gets beat up. It sheds like a golden retriever after a while. We had a golden retriever. She was such a great dog, But you can see, here, let me find the camera. It does that. I didn't beat it against anything. It just kind of falls to pieces because it gets dry and you use it. But when I got it, it was perfect. It was included with an I Ching book I bought. So that's just that, Nice yarrow. Yeah. And yes, Renee, you don't have to use yarrow. It's just, and I checked on Etsy last night, and there are people selling yarrow for ridiculous prices. You don't have to use yarrow, but you can if you'd like. I think you can use whatever you've got. You want them to be fairly thin because you're going to have 49 of those stalks in your hand, right? Hi, Meg. Nice to see you. Use guitar picks. Well, yeah, why not? And I know you have limited mobility, so you have to be able to hold them in your hand. So yeah, it's whatever, whatever. Now, are you using like coins? You're using them because this are kind of a different technique, but you get the same idea. Welcome to the room. Um, so now, when you're reading Wilhelm here and other people who write about the Yarrow Stalk, this particular version, there are other versions of the Yarrow Stalk Oracle, but this is specifically this type. They'll say, the first time you do this technique, you're going to take, here's what basically is going to happen. You're going to take one from this pile and you're going to put it between your little and third finger. And then you're going to take another one, you're going to take another one, and when you count them up, you'll either have 9 or 5. But the one between your little finger doesn't count. So it isn't, you don't count it as 9, you count it as 8. And 8, so the one is superfluous, so it counts as 8. But 8 is a double number, so it's 2. And the 5 counts as 4, but 4 is a perfect number, and that's 3. And you're just going, what? 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 What am I reading here? Forget all that stuff. Okay? Forget all that stuff. I'm going to make it so much easier for you. I promise. I promise. You're going to go, thank you, Mo. Maybe. But maybe not. But I have something I call the minority rule. Because the minority rules in the I Ching. This is the same rule that is in my 3-coin presentation. My Aren't We High and Mighty presentation. Okay? All right. So, yes, I use them as coins. I couldn't manage 50 of anything as get as a Yarrow Stalk without dropping 49 on the floor. That's what I figured. Meg. So, good. So, this is we're going to just make it so much easier. All right. So, what you will end up, he's right about one thing. In the first operation that we're going to do, and this doesn't include blood or surgery or anything like that, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to essentially, you will end up with one between the pinky and this, and it doesn't count. So you're going to end up doing something 3 times, and it's going to be 3 times, which equivalates. Yep, that's me. I know the words. It equivocates to 1 toss of the coins. 1, 2, 3. And the first one, it will either be, I'm getting ahead of myself, but we're not going to worry about either 8 or 4. Forget about numbers, okay? You'll have either a bunch or just a few. And it's either going to be 8 or 4. And the 8, we're going to rhyme with sedate. 8 is sedate. And sedate is yin, right? Because yin is the receptive. Yin receives. So 8 is sedate. That's all you have to remember. And 8 is sedate. And yin is a broken line. All right? Very simple. Very simple. And if you have 4, rhymes with Thor, the god of thunder. Macho, macho. Or macho, macho man. Huh? Okay? Okay? All right? What is macho about this? I always think of the Three Stooges, that one guy, Joe, you know? I'm going to give you such a pinch. Huh? Anyway, so, and the village people, were they macho? I'm sorry. Anyway, so, stop, stop, stop. Anyway, so, here we are, back again. And so the whole idea is that my mind just goes gone. Thor is yang. Thor, they don't get much more yang than Thor. Okay, kaboom, and that's the solid line. Now, couldn't be more simple, could it? So you don't have to worry about adding numbers. You don't have to worry about anything, and you'll see this in principle. So if you have a majority of sedate, and you've got one Thor, one yin, or one yang, then the line will be, and you'll see how this works in actual process, okay? So let's do one purely mechanically so you can see how it works, all right? Okay, now you always start off with 50. This is known as the Wu Chi, or kind of the universe. The universe, calm, perfect. But we don't live in that universe so much. So I just reach in, and I can always feel the energy shift when I do this, right? And you have a question. Now, we don't have an actual question, but we're just going to take one out, put it in the vase. Now we have 49. And there's a tension, and that's the Dai Chi. And that's the way. And so now there's a tension that's been created. Okay? And so now what we do is we divide this into two piles, just like this. That's all. All right? And as I put one pile down, hope I have enough room here to do this. I think I do. I have a keyboard down here too. I take one from the right hand pile, I put it down, and I take the one from the right hand and I put it in between my little finger, like that. And then I simply remove by fours, just like that, until I have four or left in my left hand. And you're saying, why all this detail? Well, because you can miscount. And so when you do it this way, and you talk at the same time, when you do it this way, you know where you made your mistake. Okay, here I have three left. And even though after you do this for a while, I'm done with my left-hand pile, I go to my right-hand pile, I pick them up, put them in my left hand, and I remove until I have four left. Okay? Just like this, just like this. Four at a time. Nothing to it. Oops. Unless you drop them. But I have a big enough stomach here that, not my stomach, it's my belly. All right? Like this. I have one left, and I put it here. And if you do it right, you can see I have five left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, the first time it's superfluous. But, so I have 4. And 4 is Thor, right? So all I think of is yang. Okay? So I'm going to put these aside, a small group. I don't worry about anything else. I just have a small yang. I'm so stupid. I'm so juvenile. Slowly, sir. Welcome to the room. Grow up, Mom. I just sounded wrong. Oh my God. Unbelievable. All right, so I take up the sticks that are left, which is all of them except the 4 or 5 there. I'm sorry. That was so uncalled for, but that caught me by surprise. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, all right, let's get back to work. Okay, so again, you divide them in half at random. Oh, my Lord. And you take one from the right-hand pile, put it in your left hand. I'm so sorry. And then you take them away by 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. My God, I'm juvenile. Until you have 4 or less. And they go in just like this. And then you take, got a little too close to their pile. 1, 2. Okay. Out of Mo's mind for sure. That's right. All right, and then you put these, and then you do a end by 4. 4. I do apologize. 4. 4. I can report to my wife that she's correct. I am weird. She says I'm weird all the time. 4. And 4. I have a miscount. Well, I'll just drop one because I know it has to be. Oh, no, that's not right. Oh, let's see. There it is. It has to be that. Anyway, I'm cheating because I made a mistake. Because I got mixed up there. I was laughing a little too hard. So here. And I have 8. All right. So, so here I have my 8. And 8 is sedate. So we have that. So we have one batch, which is yang, and 8 is sedate, which is yin. All right. And so I do it one more time, because now I'm curious what we're going to have. It's hard on a tiny little space here, which is why I usually crisscross them, which is what I should be doing. All right, I'll do that. Yeah, that makes more sense. And then you do it one more time. Okay. And I'll put this here. All right. And then makes for great TV, doesn't it? 4, 4, 4, 4. And there we go. Now at this point, you have a pretty good idea of how this is going to end. But if you're sitting alone in your room and you're meditating on this, you're going to go ahead and finish it. Oh my God. Okay, here we are. There we are. And again, we have 8. So it's another yin. So at this point, we have 8, 8, and yang. 4. So, minority rule. Okay? So, since we had 2 yins, right? Sedate, sedate, Thor. So, this means that the first line we're going to have is going to be a yang line. All right? That's all there is to it. It takes longer. I'm sorry. It takes longer. It's sillier. But that's the way it is. Now, here's what you do. I always write down the date. Okay? And you always start at the bottom. So whatever you're doing, because you're building a hexagram like you build a house from the bottom up. So you have a yang. It's a straight line. There you are. Wow, that's weird. It disappears. There it is. And let's say the next one is a yin. That's how I draw my yins. It's just easier than trying to draw the 2 lines. And let's say the next one is an old yin, which would be 3 yins. And we'll do some more of this. So you see? And then the next one is a yang. And then the next one is an old yang, which would be 3 yangs. You just draw a circle in the middle of the yang. And that means it's going to change. Okay? And then the next one is just, let's give it another yang. All right? So we have this. And I didn't pay attention to what I was drawing. But that particular would be, at the bottom would be Jen, and at the top would be, Kian. All right. So, what you do after that is this. It's very simple stuff. Every I Ching book, if you're using a book, has one of these. Okay? And you look it up at the top trigram. Upper trigram is Kian, and the bottom trigram is going to be on the side. All right, and I just looked up. It's number 25. All right, number 25. So the top one is Kian, and the top one is Jen. So let's look it up. Look it up. Remember, I just made this up. This is not we're not really taking this seriously. And that's innocence. Innocence. The unexpected. That's its other name. Because out of the sky, out of the western sky comes Sky King. That's from my childhood. Kaboom! Thunder out of nowhere. It's a blue sky, and suddenly, kaboom! So you go, okay, we found that. Now what do you do? Well, you look at the changes. And how do you do that? Well, I think most of you have done the I Ching. You probably don't need me to help you with this, but for those of you who don't, and we'll do another one of these. It's I wish I could show you where these things go, but you're getting the idea, I think. The main thing is I wanted to take the crazy numbers out of it for you. You draw it again, yang, yin, yang, because it changed, and I'll show it to you. Yang, yin, yang. Oh, look what it turned into. Lili. Li. The 30th hexagram. So there we are. So then what you do, and the way I do it, is I go from the bottom up. What you do is, well, this is how I do it. I read the whole hexagram that we have 25, and then I read the third line, the third moving line, and then I go to what that changes to. So 25 would change to, let's see, fellowship with men, the 13th hexagram. And I would read that hexagram, and then I would go to that moving fifth line and read that moving fifth line, and then that would change to Li, the pure hexagram Li, and then I would read that. That's what I would do. That's how I do it. And then I read that hexagram. But then that would stop there at the judgment and the explanation of the hexagram. And then that would take quite a bit of time. That would take quite a bit of time. And understand what I did just now, it was only one line. So you can see it takes a bit of time to do that. Let's do another line, just so you can see what it's about. Now, what I used to do was light some incense. I don't light incense anymore. I lit enough incense, probably, I lit a lot of incense in my life. And when I first started lighting incense, it was incense from India that was mixed with cow dung. And I didn't know any better. The first time I lit Nag Champa, I didn't light it. It was in a store, and I thought, oh my God, what is that stuff? That's got to be the most expensive incense in the world. And it was only $1.25 for a box, and I was just dumbfounded. And I lit and used Nag Champa for 2,500 years. And then I realized I was coughing a lot. So I stopped all smoking and all. I actually stopped smoking a long time before I quit using incense. That I did. Oh, and I make notes. I write down the question I asked. And I also know shorthand. I use Greg's shorthand. I used to use Pittman, but Greg was so much more sensical for me. And so I if it's something that I don't necessarily, that I'm not proud of, I'll use shorthand and write. Sometimes you don't want everyone reading your mind, and I'll write down the details, and sometimes if I'm really, I'll write some in hieroglyphics and that sort of thing. What are you going to do? I don't, it's not that. It's just you're thinking, God, do I really need to share with the world in case? Because, I'm getting up in years and my kids could end up reading some of this stuff, I've got, pages and pages and pages and pages of stuff, and notebooks, like hundreds of pages of notebooks. So anyway, and then I write down the resolution, and then I'll come back sometimes, so not always, and write down what happened. If it's like, oh my God, I'll come back and catch it up, which is a good thing for you to do. I haven't been anywhere on a trip. Gosh, the last trip I took was to my mom's funeral 27 years ago, 27 years ago. Otherwise, I haven't been anywhere in a long time. Last vacation I took was longer than that. That wasn't a vacation. But I used to draw. Everywhere I went, I would draw. And in a book, and I'd write. And that's a good idea. I think you should do that. You do what you want to do, but it was good for me. Putting your thoughts down. I still put my thoughts down. I try and do it every day. Okay, let's do another one of these. The stalks are very easy. People make them much harder than they need to be, and I think that's sort of an exclusivity. I mean, once you learn them, they're kind of hard in the beginning. They don't have to be, but once you learn them, you go, oh, I use the stalks. Oh, I'm sorry you don't. Come on, come on. All right. Once again, 49. 50th is in the universe. Divide them into two. Take one from the right-hand side, a little finger. The first time you do it, the little finger one is not going to be counted. It's invisible. It's Claude Rains in The Invisible Man. You can't see it. Don't worry about it, okay? All right. You've got your pile. It's on it's on the place there. You take away in groups of 4 till you have 4 left. Right? That's all you do. You can talk, you can whistle, you could sing. You could do a ventriloquism. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you? Oh, I'm pretty good, thanks. I used to be a ventriloquist. When I was about 13, 14, I was pretty darn good, too. My ventriloquist dummy was irritating beyond comprehension, not half as irritating as I am now. All right, you put these down, and then you take the right half, and you... That was pretty darn good. Yeah. I could insult bullies with that dummy, and they would laugh. Yep. It was kind of an amazing thing I did. It was my alter ego. All right. There we are. I have 5, but we don't count that extra one. So that is that. Okay? So we have 4, which is Thor. All right, let me move this book, because I have a feeling that, let's see here. No, I just hit the microphone. Bet that sounded good. All right. So I have Thor, Yang. Gather them all up again. It's fun. And when you're meditating, it's kind of cool because it's just a process. And you see people on YouTube, they're going, flip, 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 flip. You know? It's amazing how fast they go. Flip, 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 flip. And then they, flip, 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 flip. And then flip, 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 flip. It's like, wow. They must not have lived through the 70s. Because they do things really fast. It's like, wow, man. Okay, take one from the right hand, put it in the finger. Okay, and here we go. 4. I'm not in that big a hurry for anything. I don't speed, I let people go ahead of me in the grocery store. Unless I have to pee, and I'm at that age. All right. Too much information. Sorry. Way too much information today. This is Mo's TMI show. All right. We do that again. We pick up the right-hand pile, take them off in groups of 4. 4. 4. And there's 4 left. There we are. So we have this. And put this group down. Wait a minute. Did I get lost? Man, I think I'm getting... Oh, no, you put this down. And we have 8. All right. 8 is sedate. This is a yin. One more step. One more step. I hope some of you will come see me in the home. Okay. Separate it again. One from the right-hand pile goes in between the finger. Like that. The right hand goes down. We remove by 4. If you're seeing double, you've got problems. 4, 4, and 4. Like this. And we take the right-hand pile now. Thank you, Pamela. I'm sure my wife is going to say, what were you laughing at in there? Say, nothing. Right-hand pile, 4. She will not be amused. I guarantee you that. She does not find me amusing. 4. 4. She did when she first met me. 4. Got old fast. And 4. Okay. So there we are. We're left with 4. So we have 3 piles. We've done our Judy. We had 4 Thor, so it's yang. 8 sedate, which is yin. And 5, but we know that's only 4. 4 Thor, which is yang. So 2 yangs and 1 yin. The minority rule, so the line is going to be class, you chewing gum in the back. Can I have some gum? My mouth is really dry. So it's going to be a yin line. We didn't have any, we only did 2. So yeah, you get moving lines, not as many as you might have with the coins, but you do get moving lines. And they do happen. So this would be, because of the minority rule, this would be a yin line. Okay? This is the process. That's all there is to it. It's not that big a deal. Okay? So I hope that takes the mystery out of it. You had a little ventriloquism today, some incredible stupidity, and it is not hard. And you can come back and watch this. Let's skip over that part where it's absolutely ludicrous and beyond redemption. Right? Chewing chicken salad, not gum. Wait a minute. I don't know what that means. Oh, chicken salad. Oh, not gum. Oh, well, then share it with the class, please. I'm glad that was helpful. And if you do the coins, I did a whole thing about the coins. It's on this channel. It's an old thing. It's like 9-10 years old or something. And actually, someone just wrote me yesterday thanking me for it. It's been watched thousands of times, which surprises me. But it's been, oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. I think I didn't expect it to have longevity. I just did it because I was teaching an I Ching class at 1-2 Academy. Let me please ask you, if you are not subscribed to this channel, would you please consider doing so? It would actually help me greatly. I would appreciate it very much. And give me a like. Rodney Dangerfield says, hey, give me one of these. Yeah, I'm asking for, give me one of these. Okay? All right. Love you all. You know that. I love doing this. Otherwise, I don't know what I would do. Sit in my chair all day going, no, I don't. I get a kick out of this, right? I mean, it's the best laugh I've had all week. Maybe, yeah, I laugh a lot. Yeah, thank you very much, Pamela. Thank you all. I may do some more I Ching. I don't know yet. I know I'm going to do the rest of my tarot cards, and maybe I'll start that next week. If so, I'll be starting with wands. But let me think about it. I will announce it. But please subscribe. Consider doing that. And give me a thumbs up if you want. But only if you want. And until next week, peace and love. I'll talk to you later. Mwah. Bye-bye.